Get on down.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Bone podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and maybe a little bit of NFTs dabbled in there. Today, we're going to discuss the continued crypto pump as the market stays super hot. The Ethereum launch date also is going to be broken down here, as we have potentially a launch date revealed as early as July 23rd, which is 1 week from now. The 7-day countdown is here, and what that could mean for Ethereum price action. He's been calling for some sell the news action. And we're going to break down some of the latest macro news for crypto. Kicks, before we kick today's show, how you doing, man?
Doing phenomenal, man. Missed you guys. Went on a little trip. Went to a place called Maine for the first time ever. Ate a lot of lobster. Got a lot of boat action. Absolutely love Maine, by the way. Like, holy camole.
Holy camole.
Phenomenal area. P, are you from Maine?
I'm from Boston, motherfucker. But
that's Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, but I've been to Maine. I was in a wedding in Maine recently. Maine fucks, man, and the lobster is no joke. The seafood's no joke. Actually, Maine is Portsmouth, or is it Portsmouth? Portland. Portland, Maine is known for its foodie culture.
Yes, I went in there, dude. Love it. Big fan of Maine now. Absolutely phenomenal fan of Maine. Great weekend. They almost killed Trump, so got belligerently drunk that night. Still feeling it today. But how often is that going to happen? You know what I mean? Like you gotta get into some real conspiracy theories with your buddy after that goes down, in the side cabin, just drinking Casamigos.
Well, dude, I mean, that was the wildest thing ever. We talked about it on the show yesterday. They literally tried to blow his brains out in 4K HD in front of fucking everybody. That was completely insane. I love how it's just no hesitation Bitcoin pump right after. It's just like, all right, send it. Send it.
JD Vance coming in, sending a little higher.
Oh, dude, the JD Vance thing. And so Nick was telling me, I didn't know anything about JD Vance. Nick read, Jesus. Oh man, I'm so out of whack without my headphones. Sorry, guys. JD Vance wrote a book that what was it? The Hillbilly Elegy or something like that. And Nick had read it years ago. So I guess JD Vance is like huge in the tech scene. These boys with Peter Thiel. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy, man. This is like a Bitcoin ballot.
Yeah, last time I heard the name Vance was Vance Refrigeration from The Office. I never even really knew about this guy, but sounds like my cup of tea. So,
well, let's get into this. Clemente, it sounds like today you already let people know that we're gonna talk about.
I already let them know. I let them know already.
Well, then we get a Kicks weather report. Is that what we're doing?
Mm-hmm. Let's run this thing, Kicks.
Coach, you got it, man.
Kicks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's Tuesday, July 16th. Let's take a quick look at crypto majors on up mode today, despite some new Mt. Gox news. Bitcoin sitting right at 64K, ETH 3,400, Salamis 157. The leading coin today is Pepe, up 25%, back to that juicy $5 billion market cap. Let's look at some news over the past 24 hours. Mt. Gox moving over $5.8 billion in Bitcoin to new addresses early this morning. Kraken received half of these funds and will be distributing repayment to their customers in the next 7 to 14 days. Talk about Mt. Gox just making everyone diamond hand. $5.8 billion. That's a lot. Next, the SEC told Ethereum ETF applicants to return final S1 filings tomorrow, including fee levels. They requested the funds to list effectiveness for Monday, which would lead to a launch as soon as Tuesday of next week. I love it. That's the 23rd. I'll have to check Polymarket, see if I bet on that. Finally, Donald Trump named JD Vance as his vice presidential running mate. Vance is historically crypto-friendly as he voted for the SAB 121 repeal, slammed SEC Chair Gary Gensler's stance on crypto, and previously disclosed up to $250K worth of Bitcoin holdings. Sounds like he's one of us, as the kids like to say. Anyways, back to you in the studio.
Fantastic weather report. As usual, Kicks. I mean, look, we got Mt. Gox moving some Bitcoin. 90,000 Bitcoins moved around at midnight Eastern time. That's worth almost $6 billion, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the big question. Does this matter? Ladies and gentlemen, does $6 billion of Mt. Gox Bitcoin matter at all? I'm going to go ahead and stake my opinion. No, it doesn't matter at all. But I want to hear Easy's take on whether it matters. $6 billion, Mt. Gox, distribution of funds. Seems like Kraken.
Couldn't care less.
Okay, Kraken received half of the funds and will be distributing to their users in the next 7 to 14 days. Easy, what do you think?
I don't think it's a major catalyst, to be completely honest. I think, if anything, we just saw Germany's sell pressure. There's payouts to users, especially those that are in crypto. I don't think are going to just dump it on the market. Like, it's a little bit better than like a government entity receiving these assets. I think, if anything, it's more just like people that may have a little bit more cash. Maybe we end up seeing Sol and ETH run a little bit harder as people convert those. I don't think it's a huge deal. I don't think it's a huge deal at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I actually had a tweet, Clemente, here. I'll hit you with this, and this is in line with because I mean, we literally just went through the test net version of this via Germany, and them just jamming on the sell button, as hard as they possibly could. Fred Krueger was commenting on it, so I had to jack that tweet real quick. $3 billion, the most populous country in Europe, literally no impact. Like, Bitcoin's gone up since they started selling their billions of dollars of Bitcoin. I don't know, Kicks, what do you think? The other thing to think about with the Mt. Gox stuff is that the people that lost their Bitcoin in Mt. Gox were hella early, and it's been years. It's been like a decade almost or more than a decade at this point, since this went down. So it's not like these people don't know what Bitcoin is. I feel like they're going to hold their Bitcoin. I don't know. What do you think, Kicks?
Yeah, I mean, when did it go down? I think it went down in 2014. So
10 years ago.
Yeah, so they're up 100x from there. So certainly you would think, as to Easy's point, some of them, just because of the technology that has happened over the past 10 years, yeah, many of them may just be like, Bitcoin's all I care about. But shit, maybe they want to buy an ordinal. Maybe they want to buy some ETH, maybe they want to buy some Coinbase stock. Who the fuck knows? But will they do what Germany did, which was sell the whole clip, sell the entire thing? Probably very unlikely, right? So maybe at what is it, 5-6 billion, maybe 20% of it is getting sold. And I think it also really depends on the concentration, right? Like if out of that 6 billion, there's 100 guys that own 1 billion of it, maybe a little bit more sell pressure. But certainly I don't think the entire thing's going away. But I'm sure some of those people that wrote that off as like being gone for 10 years may want to change their life a little bit. They're like, hey, go buy a nice condo. What would Nick do? What would Nick do if he was one of these guys and he had $10 million like coming to him right now? What do you think he would do? Let's just play it out.
He would speed run to sell it so fast. I'm serious. He would sell it so fast, and he'd just be like, I did it. Yeah. He'd be like, I did it, man. And like, I know Nick, and I know if he had like a lump sum multi-million-dollar thing, he would not be able to resist, and he'd jam on the sell button. He's going to jam on the sell button like a year from now. Everything will be gone. All of it. But look, you can obviously do whatever you want with your assets. Nick's also in his 40s, so it's a different kind of vibe. Whereas, like, I'm just gonna,
he's basically on his deathbed, so he's got to recognize it at some point. Like, he doesn't have much time left. Like, money doesn't last forever. Neither do you. So, like, better get it out of the market.
Yeah, that's what he would do. Well, look, I wish Nick was here for this, which is Donald Trump announcing JD Vance as his vice president. So yeah, what about the poly market vibes on this? Where was this at?
26 cents. 26 cents pre-announcement, immediately up to $1. I had tweeted about it, and I had even said, like, I think JD Vance is going to be the person at 26 cents. So I felt good about that. Had not deployed the capital that I wish I did, but clean 4x, almost 4x. And yeah, 100% chance now. Outcome was yes. JD Vance meme coins all ran to about $4 million. There was 3 of them. The Tremp Solana meme coin ended up partnering with Vance, another JD Vance meme coin that ended up sending it to 10 million from about a 70 to 100K range. So like a clean 40x on that. The others ended up doing some substantial runs as well. All in all, Pretty solid moves. I mean, Polymarket's way more interesting than meme coins to me right now because there's almost like some skill involved, or at least information, and they don't just inevitably trend to zero right away.
Yeah.
This is juicy. Go ahead, guys. Sorry.
The only thing I was gonna say here is for Vance, basically for the Vance meme coin, a lot of them actually like sold off really quickly after the announcement. It was like the peak whales and everyone that accumulated just sold off into this this pump, right? The exit liquidity of him being announced, everyone just sold into that versus Polymarket. You don't have to like time your exit or figure out when you're getting out. It was just a clean like 5x if you put money into it like 2 weeks ago, so that's a difference between Polymarket and meme coins.
Yeah, the difference is Polymarket's an actual real thing where like normal people will actually do it. Like Polymarket's something that matters, basically. The Vance
Mog is almost $1 billion. Okay.
I know.
Don't get mogged.
I thought I had Mog and I was just like wrong. Completely out to lunch. Kicks, any thoughts on Polymarket here going into this?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the reasons why I think people liked the idea of like meme coins acting as like pseudo prediction markets is that you can get it in and out at any time. Versus like if you went to DraftKings, right, and you bought, let's say DraftKings offered it, like you would have to buy JD Vance. And then you wouldn't be able to really, they're cash outs. They have some, but it sucks. Point being that Polymarket works in the same way where like you could have bought JD Vance at 5% and sold it at 40, right? You don't have to wait for the market. It has the liquidity very similar to a meme coin, but you don't have the issue of like getting rugged by someone that accumulated 70% of the supply of the meme coin and is going to dump the top. Because essentially Polymarket, like every dollar is matching one way or the other. Meaning, right? Like there's no one that's able to get in super early on something and have this insane advantage for you. Yes, they could get in at a lower percentage, right? So they could have gotten JD Vance at 10% and it goes to 100 and they made it 10x. And you could have got in at a 30% and gone for a 3x to 100%. But his winning will not make you lose, right? Like his exiting will not impact you in any way. So it's definitely much cleaner. I think like the negative like risk profile on it, it is a lot lower for sure.
It's understandable. And people are like, it's literally gambling. Yeah. And gambling's a real thing. And, you know, DraftKings is also gambling. And
you can say stock market's gambling. Sure, not if you put in the S&P 500, but if you're buying like a risky tech stock, right? You could have bought fucking Peloton in 2021. It's down 95%, but no one walks around and says, "Oh, well, you know, buying stocks is gambling." Like gambling is whether you have an edge or not. If you don't have an edge, like when you go into a casino, that's gambling. You go sit down at a fucking blackjack table, unless you're counting cards like an absolute pro, you have a negative edge. Gambling just means you have a negative edge and you're just still throwing the money in, right? For some way, shape, or form. But if you have an actual positive edge on something and you can prove it, then it's skill.
Yeah, Polymarket, my #1 company to look out for in crypto.
I think it's going to be massive. Honestly, it reminds me kind of like NFTs in 2021 in multiple reasons. One is I just think that the potential is like there's so much, deeper you can take it. Yeah. And then I think the excitement and the interest around it is going to create that edge that we had in NFTs where like if you have a decent level of skill, you're going to be able to win versus like now you look at NFTs, very hard game. You almost have to have some level of insider information to win in NFTs unless you're super skilled. Right. So.
Well, NFTs don't go up right now, so it's pretty hard to win when they just will not go up under any circumstances.
Yes, that's also tough.
We're going to place a Polymarket bet on this show. We're going to, at the end of the show, we're going to knock one out. So look, a real quick breakdown on our new, running mate of Donald Trump, JD Vance. His crypto stances in the past are that he strongly supports crypto. He voted for the SAB 121 repeal, which we've talked about a bit on this show. He's a holder. In 2022, he was, he disclosed that he had $250,000 worth of Bitcoin, and people are speculating that he probably has more now. He has essentially the opposite stance on crypto that Gary Gensler does, stating that utility tokens need regulation more than ever as tokenization will be required for a lot of the newer companies that are breaking out, which is really juicy stuff, obviously. Get this. I saw this headline, and I want to chat about this for a moment. Elon Musk has committed $45 million a month to a super PAC working to elect Trump as president. That's crazy stuff right there. This comes days after his full public endorsement of Trump. So what do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I think it was wild. So did Ryan Cohen, Chewy GameStop.
Ryan Cohen.
Yeah, Cohen. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people probably saw what happens and they're like, you know what? Like, time to like, stop being like wishy-washy and so show some support for like, what I believe in. And of course there'll be a bunch of people that are like, I'll never use your product, but I think on either side of that stuff's dumb. People should be able to have their own political opinions, and you should use their products because they're good products and like not care about that bullshit. But yeah, man. I mean, dude, speaking of Polymark, I mean, look at the odds. We got, they got Trump now at 72%, so he's got 1 year left, man. If he wants to go up to 82%, we'll see what happens. But this also, what was interesting on Polymarket, solidified Joe Biden being in Kamala being the ticket.
So is that all but confirmed at this point?
It's not, but like the markets are betting that that he went down all the way to 25%. If you look at the graph. Yeah, back when he was at the debate, he went down. Maybe not 25, 35.
Wow. So if you put a flyer bet on him after the debate and said, hey, he's going to be a thing right at 25%, you could take it out right now for a 3x basically.
Yeah. More like a 2.5x. But that's the cool thing about this is you don't have to sit there and wait for it to resolve all the way through. You can kind of trade trends or counter trade trends, right? But like, yeah, so he went up July 8th to 10, then he dropped all the way down. But then after the assassination attempt, I think that people basically said now Trump probably has so much momentum, it would be a disaster for another candidate to get slotted in, right? And lose, right? So no one's now going to want to like step into that. So they're like, just, ride it through. But who knows? Because once again, it was at that 77% before. It's dropped twice now. It's definitely a volatile market. So, you can make money going the other way on it right now. Who knows?
Go ahead, Clinton.
Yeah, well, basically, Kicks, what you're saying then is like you don't even have to bet on necessarily Biden dropping out. You can just bet on this. Is it going to be higher or lower than the 77%? Right. So
exactly.
You can bet on him like screwing up, maybe falling on the stairs a little stumble, and then that drops a little bit, or he screws up on another debate. This is interesting here. I kind of like Joe Biden at 77% voting no here.
You're like shorting. You're shorting it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So in other words, let's say he goes full dementia mode and it drops down to 52% and you put in the bet at 77.
50%.
There's a gap there. Yeah.
You make 50% on it.
I mean, it's not crazy. Didn't yesterday he said he was like, he was saying how when he was like with Obama in 2020 that he then became a professor at the University of Pennsylvania or something.
Great school.
Random ass shit.
Great school.
Random ass shit.
Probably Wharton. They probably put him at Wharton for a little bit.
I mean, it's just like, dude, you literally ran for president in 2020 and you won. Like, that's what actually happened. Like, that's a wild comment. He's like, I didn't run with Obama. Yeah, that was some wild shit. All right, moving on. We'll come back to Polymarket later in the show. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, had an NBC interview with none other than Jim Cramer. And he said something that a lot of y'all need to hear. He said, my opinion 5 years ago was wrong. Grown-ass man went on TV, said he was wrong. This is what I believe today. I believe Bitcoin is a legitimate financial instrument that allows you to have uncorrelated returns. It's an instrument you invest in when countries are debasing their currency. And one comment that he said that I did not agree with is he said Bitcoin is not an instrument for hope. It is a vehicle in which you're expressing your financial acumen when you are more frightened of the world. So he's implying that Bitcoin is like for some sort of like, apocalyptic future. That's the part that I like disagree with. I thought that was a really weird comment by him to throw.
He may have been specifically drilling down on like hope for a country's ability to effectively manage their currency and their budget.
He's right about that.
Yeah, exactly. He may, because he's a financial guy, so he's looking all through the lens, right? He may be saying that more than instead of like you're trading Bitcoin for some gasoline for your like 1985 GTA because there's zombies chasing you down, kind of dystopian, right? Like he may just be more like this is a bet not on America's gonna turn around their government in a good way. This is a bet that they're not. Like this is a bet of you're not hopeful that the US dollar is going to be taken care of.
Well,
so how long did you have to wait to stand up after watching that clip?
I didn't have to stand up. He's been saying this. The other thing is he literally called it digital gold, which I was very happy with. He says the words digital gold. And my question to anybody that thinks Bitcoin and crypto are the same thing, and like when people say crypto, they're lumping in Bitcoin, is like, how do you watch that interview with Larry Fink and think that like it's Bitcoin, gold, silver in one asset class, and then it's the rest of crypto? And I'm not against, I literally run a company with crypto products, right? Like I'm literally on a podcast right now about crypto. So I'm not against crypto, but I want people to understand the difference and understand that Bitcoin is the digital gold that's literally going up forever, obviously with crashes. And it's just strange to me that people try to lump them together and act like it's a gamble. It feels pretty obvious to me when you look at the history of Bitcoin, what direction it's going to be going in forever. So love to see it. Incredible to see Larry Fink, see JD Vance, see Donald Trump, all these people at the same time, kind of rising up. Pretty cool stuff. Real quick, back to Poly Market. We got a comment here from Daddy Nick that says that he got good word that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are already engaged. There's a little bit of inside. I say that's alpha right there.
That might be alpha. We might have to hammer that.
We can hammer that bet in a minute, but anyway, at the end of the show,
we're gonna check the recent bets on the other side, though. We're gonna see. This guy setting us up a little bit here.
We're gonna go and we're gonna check that out at the end of the show. Any other thoughts on Larry Fink and Bitcoin before we move on to Stripe and Bitcoin?
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Stripe has expanded its cryptocurrency integration in the European market, allowing EU clients to purchase crypto using their credit or debit cards. I love the progression. I love the gradual progression. Stripe, of course, one of the most valuable private companies in the United States and very widely used organization. Stripe has a history of crypto integrations. They were integrated with Nifty Gateway when me and Kix used to participate on Nifty Gateway at this point over 3 years ago. Pretty wild stuff. It's been a while.
Crazy, man.
So that's not earth shattering, but it's always nice to continue to see development of crypto with, big name companies like Stripe. Next story, Ethereum ETF. This is some big time stuff. Ethereum ETF, according to Bloomberg bro Eric Balkunas, the SEC is requesting ETF applicants to return their final S1s on Wednesday, that's tomorrow, and then request effectiveness on Monday after closing for a Tuesday, July 23rd ETF launch. So that's 1 week from today, ladies and gentlemen. That would mean that the Ethereum ETF is set to go live next week. I mean, holy shit. What do we think? This comes on the back of this crypto pump. Easy. What are you thinking about the price action here?
I think we see similar to Bitcoin. We just had this rally. I think we see 7 to 14 day chop. I don't think hard sell off. I think 3,300 could be retested. I think we've now established a new bottom across a lot of these. 3,300 is the mark in the sand that I'm watching on ETH. 140-ish is where I'm watching on Sol. And I was looking at my trading view charts specifically to this. And let me see if I can actually share this because I know we're big TA guys, huge TA guys. Yeah, okay. So I can. The Sol chart broke out above this yellow box and actually retested it almost perfectly. So that's where I'm looking right now, especially on Sol. It's held up better. I look at this ETH chart, similar price action that I've had on it. I think my actual ETH USDT chart maybe hopefully has the boxes on it. We'll see. I forgot to draw those on this one. That one, though, is still holding. So like we could see test to 33.8. Nice little push back at that 33.4, even a little bit lower, 33.38. So yeah, 3,300-ish is where I'm looking to maintain. If we can hold that, upward price action should send us to 37. I still think we're not completely out of the woods on negative price action, but a chop would not be unsurprising, especially after the rally we had yesterday being 8%. Like that's a very strong price action. And ETH and Sol actually outpaced Bitcoin yesterday, which was great to see. ETH ETF, watching the inflows is going to be the big thing. We've had $1 billion of Bitcoin inflows. If we can maintain 500 million on ETH, That would be great. I'd be happy about that. Under that, it's kind of a disappointment. First day of trading will be really interesting. Do they pull some of the Bitcoin funds? Do we start to diversify deposits? That's where my mind kind of goes. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, I would say. But hey, TradFi, you don't fade TradFi. Like, there's trillions of dollars in assets under management. We've never had that level of capital before in the crypto space, which means higher for longer, especially over a long enough timeline. Like, dude, traditional finance doesn't lose. Look at the S&P. Like, that's the easiest thing. Look at the S&P. People say it's an 8% return year over year on average for a reason. Like, buy recession dumps and hold the damn thing. Buy crypto dumps and hold the damn thing. Like, there's a reason I've even shifted on my soul bags to not be aggressively dumping it into meme coins and burning that capital and just letting it sit on a ledger. Like, there's reasons for that. And I'm going to continue to do the same thing, especially when you have Canada, Europe, and the US applying for a Solana ETF next. I think the ETH one right now, we chop 7 to 14, then rally back to 37. Long enough timeline. I think end of Q4, we're looking at 4,200 ETH, 72K Bitcoin, if not a little higher, and 200 plus Solana.
Book it. Book those very specific predictions. I have a funny feeling they're going to be pretty close to being right. When Easy's got some of these predictions, you want to listen to them. Kicks, any thoughts on a ETF, an Ethereum ETF going live 7 days from today?
I'm really excited for it. I think it's awesome, and I think it's really cool that we went from 0 to 2 trading on the public market super quick. I think it's also signaling a continued, shift in the U.S. markets, like in government's position on crypto, which I think is bullish enough for existing things, but also incredibly bullish that we could potentially unlock all of these talented United States founders and have them come into the market with confidence and launch more and more legit products, things like Chainlink, things like Polymarket, right? Like, could this be like a real tide shift that gets some real excitement happening here? Because it's just completely ironic. You have situations like Polymarket, which is based out of New York, just got invested in by Peter Thiel, $70 million, right? And they can't operate in the United States. It's this stuff it's kind of ironic. It's kind of a joke. Looking at the dips, price action specifically. So Solana and ETH, they actually held their previous lows from back in April. Bitcoin made a new low, so that definitely lends some credence to what Easy's saying, that if we go in a continued rally here, I think Solana and ETH could lead the way. But I think I'm cautiously optimistic. I think some good things could happen. I also think it's totally possible that we could see some new lows lower than a couple of weeks ago before we see some new highs. It's completely possible. I think alts may, and that's why I sold my alts. I think alts may have a potential to struggle, and the majors may hold up well or do well. We'll see. But I'll definitely be happy if it continues to pump, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it drops down as well. Also, just like when people on the timeline, like when I see them like so like it's like I fucking talk, can't believe you guys, like, who was shorting at 2,800 underneath? I think you're just dumb if you were doing that.
And sucks.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, I think he's a good trader, but I think it's a big difference between doing that versus like selling some of your ETH at 3,400 into spot to de-risk, and now you're back to the same spot. So when I see the timeline, everyone's like, man, you almost got shaken out, dude. You almost got shaken out. It sounds as dumb as when the bears are like, it's all over, ETH's going to 1,500, right? Like it almost shows a little anxiety.
I have kind of a counter opinion, Kicks. I think that kind of like, because if you're constantly swapping to spot to try to catch dips, you're going to lose out on upside and pay short-term cap gains or
but 100%. That's why I sold ETH like 2 months ago. That was long-term. Yeah, it was up from 1,200. So I'm already at a 3x. So it's like getting some cash to be able to make new opportunities felt like a good time to sell. Could it go to 5,000, 4,500? And I could have made more money selling it then? Yeah, but I still have ETH. My point being, I'm completely with you. I think it's stupid to sell something to try to rebuy it 20 or 30% lower. Because to your point, if you're paying taxes, which you should be, you're going to get wrecked on that strategy. Because after paying taxes, you need something to drop 50%, 60% on short-term gains to actually be able to make money hopping back in. When I'm selling, I'm generally not looking to buy back into that same thing at all. It's just like, hey, this seems like a good place for me to take some profits. Then I have cash if a new opportunity prevents itself. But like, yes, I certainly think it's very dumb. Even if you have short-term or long-term capital gains, if you sell ETH at 3,300 and you bought it at 1,200, right? That's 2,100. 20% on that's 400. So ETH has to go below 3,000 just for you to break even and buy back in. It has to go 2,800 for you to make 5%. Not a smart strategy for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, love the analysis. We'll have to see how everything plays out with a new ETF in the mix, which is absolutely massive news. I mean, the Bitcoin ETF, the #1 best performing ETF through 6 months in the history of the stock market. So that's incredible. I don't know if everybody listening fully, is processing that and understands that. So the ETH ETF being launched is really big news. Some quick hitters here. ApeCoin, the token that is launched by the company Yuga Labs, which is behind the infamous Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT collection, announced that the Ape Chain testnet Curtis goes live today, more than 2 years. You like that, guys? More than 2 years after the initial launch of the token in May 2022. Ape is up 3% to a $528 million market cap, it seems, and it's down 50% on the year in 2024. Any quick commentary on Ape Chain or ApeCoin or Yuga Labs in general?
It's
tough,
well, first and foremost, like Ape Chain's cool and all. Is the gas going to be an ape? Because if it's a typical L2, it's not going to be. So, like, I think you could become, just general thinking, you could become more interested in ape if the inflation is like becoming less of a thing. That like then and the company and what they're doing is like still exciting and relevant. Like if you can check both of those boxes, and it is sort of getting there because we have market cap at $530 million and we have FDV at 786. So we do a little quick napkin math there. So that's like 67% diluted, right? So it's over halfway. It's definitely getting there, but I think you have to be excited on what's going to happen after that. I think, just being like putting my trader hat on, I think that there's other things that you could buy if you were just like bullish in general, right? So you have to be like specifically really bullish on what they're doing or have some like information that you think some sort of catalyst is going to come out.
It's a tough one for me to sort of think is going to be super duper significant over the long term. I think we're going to look back at the previous NFC cycle and the venture investment that it received and wonder, how it could have gone down differently, right? Because it went down in a pretty damn specific way, a very bubbly way. Next story, meme coin.
And real quick on that, you could like with the change in the US markets, right? Imagine if Yuga Labs could have launched ApeCoin and it wasn't through a foundation with like these people that like, get elected and sit on a board and make $200,000 a year. And like, they're just, playing Monopoly. They're just every month pass and go to collect their paycheck. They're not trying to build anything for real. That disconnect is the weirdest thing in the fucking world. If you're trying to actually make something successful, right? So
yes, it's not.
That's not going to fix ApeCoin, but maybe 3 years from now there could be some interesting changes.
Absolutely. Good. Great point. Next story, meme coin super cycle could be heating up as Forbes published an article on meme coins labeling WIF, Dog with Hat, as the top performer. WIF's market cap has crossed 2 billion. Pepe crossed 5 billion. Wow, Pepe, man. WIF also reflipped Bonk yesterday, up 22% in the last 24 hours. Wild stuff here in the meme coin area. These things are volatile. Easy, what's going to be the #1 meme coin this cycle?
Ooh, #1 meme coin, Mog.
Wow.
Yeah, look at Google Trends. Like, that's the thing I'm more interested in. Zoomers are running
Google
right now.
Google Trends is good.
Google Trends just keep showing mogging going up. Like, people Googling Mog and what it means and all that shit. Like,
it's a good word.
Yeah, dude, Mog is great. Like, that shit is great. I'm sorry, but it's good. Like, look at this, dude.
It's a weird
go to
chart.
Not the past day. Go to the past year.
There we go.
Look at that rally, dude.
It's good. Yeah.
Wow. So, like, I think this one. I think
a lot of
Mog
interest in Utah from Utah.
Yeah,
I mean, the Mormons.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh,
group.
Washington. Hey over there,
Alaska.
The West Coasters. The West Coasters are mogging. That makes
sense.
sense.
They like it. And then the Northeast. Look at Maine. Maine's very dark blue. Maine Mogs. Maine Mogs.
Easy. Is this a Zoomer term? Is this like I asked all my Gen Z friends, none of them know what Mog means. I was doing some market research this weekend.
Your friends aren't that cool, bro.
Yeah, is it more of a 20 and under kind of thing?
Well, also just something I just noticed when you were looking at the charts, Easy. It said the #1 search was Mog Elden Ring. It's a boss in Elden Ring. I think they released a new patch. So that may be helping pump those numbers up.
That's very nerdy. But that would make sense that there would be an extra pump from a video game. Mog there's look at that breakout right there. There it is. Wow. Yep. Incredible. Okay. Well, we'll see what comes. Easy's bet is Mog. Easy, do you have a position in Mog?
No, I sold mine for like a 2.5x, like an idiot. When we were in Miami, I bought it. It was about 200 million, 180 million. Would have been almost a 4x now. I mean, I don't hold anything that long anyway. Like, dude, that's like 6 months. That's crazy. The only thing I've held that long is my soul bags.
Yeah, I think Mog is only idiots would make fun of you for making a clean 2x in 2 months.
Yeah, like I just don't care enough to stare at that chart. I know Mog is some people's entire personality, and like it's their lifeblood. Like they'll probably end up getting it tattooed on their forehead. And like I'm just not interested in it. But I do think that ends up leading because like you have culture coins like that. Pepe is cool and all. It's like the #1 sticker on Discord. Mog is just a term though, and people use it, and it's larger than that. And I think Mog has a higher chance of getting listed on centralized exchanges versus Pepe because of the negative connotation that Pepe has, at least historically. So like there's still a little bit of a.
Did Pepe ever get on Coinbase?
No.
I wonder if these guys run some analysis on these on-chain wallets holding these things and get.
It wouldn't surprise me, but at the same time, you look at like Bohm, Binance is the largest holder. Like Pepe's, I don't know. It has
Pepe's on Binance too, right?
Yeah.
What would you take on this Polymarket bet, Easy? First coin to $10 billion.
Pepe.
Love it. Great bet.
Pepe. So the question is, what would you take the 10 bill Pepe versus Whiff? To be completely transparent, I don't know if either gets there. Pepe has a 70% chance, so I don't really like those odds because like you're only looking at about a 30% run if it does. And
so if it doesn't hit by the end of the year, it's just a 50-50 split. So you would lose on. So that's interesting because like, yeah, exactly.
So honestly, I'm taking Whiff here for the 20% gain, or 40% gain, 50%, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. My math is bad. The 20-cent gain is what I take on Whiff because I don't think at the end of the year either of these are at 10 billion. I think March, April of next year. Yeah. I think me personally, May 2025, there's a very high chance I hold less than 10% of my net worth in crypto.
By what day?
End of May 2025.
Wow. And put it into what? Cash? Just hold cash?
Yeah, mostly spot. I'll probably add to Bitcoin.
Spot?
Yeah.
Like spot what?
Spot USD.
Singaporean dollars.
Dude, my Singaporean dollar bag is disgusting. I looked at it the other day. I'm still holding it. I'm gonna spend it in September. Finally, I'll be able to use it. But I've been holding Singaporean dollars for like 18 months, and it's just traded flat, just completely flat.
Yeah, Bitcoin would have been better.
100%. I have one full Bitcoin, and I do think that number will probably 4 to 5x in May of 2025. I'll end up with probably 5 Bitcoin, but I do want to hold more.
You're gonna accumulate more Bitcoins?
Yeah, just to tuck away. Like that's the thing is I'd rather move profits from Sol into spot Bitcoin and just sit on it and forget about it in a ledger for multiple years. Just because I do think Bitcoin goes to $1 million. Yeah. I genuinely do agree with you on that, but I don't want to put the whole bag in that because like I like the active position significantly more. I do just think we see a larger market pullback into 2026 after like a bull rally through the next 12 months, 11 months. And that's just kind of where my head's at. Like, I think sell in May and go away next year will be a thesis that I do take. We'll see. And yeah, so I see Greeny saying accumulate at the top. Some of it for sure.
I was going to ask, so like you take profits on Solana. Are you in a rush to turn that into Bitcoin or do you want to wait for a little bit of a pullback? Not
a rush, but it's more that I don't mind buying into it and just forgetting about it, because to be completely honest, dude, I'm an idiot. Like I forget constantly about certain things. And that's one of the ones where like, if I go straight cash and don't stare at charts for a little bit longer, then yeah, like I'll just hold it better to just, because like, dude, I've held this Soul spot bag for 2 years almost. December will be 2 full calendar years. December 27th.
That's awesome.
Which is crazy.
You can actually get double long-term capital gains. You pay even less if you hold it for 2 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
I wish it should be that way. You should just get like an extra like 1%
My accountant
off.
would like to speak to you to see where you're getting that.
Hey, easy. I got a quote from you because this is pretty much you right here. Okay, this is from The Gambler. It says you get up $2.5 million. Any asshole in the world knows what to do. You get a house with a 25-year roof, an indestructible Jap economy shitbox, and you put the rest in the system at 3 to 5% to pay your taxes. And that's your base. Get me? That's your fortress of fucking solitude. That puts you for the rest of your life at a level of fuck you. Someone wants you to do something, fuck you. Boss pisses you off, fuck you. Right? Boom.
I'm good. I've had someone ask me like how much money I would need. Honestly, dude, like
you're gonna be set.
Like, oh, I need 10, 20 million. I don't think I do. Like,
yeah,
to be completely
that's
honest,
that like fire Reddit forum. Those guys are bizarre, dude. They're like,
yeah, those are.
I've been eating ramen for 16 years and I got $12 million in assets. I've been talking to my wife if I could maybe shave another year off and then we'll be 59, then we can go start living.
So there's a full subreddit about people who want to retire before the age of 40, and like their entire life goal is to save as much money as possible and live in like tiny homes and shit. So I have a friend who's a diehard believer in that, worked for Uber like 3 or 4 years ago, got a ton of Uber shares. He's going to retire in the next probably 12 months, 18 months, but he lives the most frugal life like ever. Like ever. I think he loves it. He loves it. Me, I think you give me 5 mil. If I can hit that this cycle, I'll be totally content to just dump it into something and just earn dividends and hang out. You know, like that's the thing. I'll never stop working. I like to work. I'll never stop trading. Yeah. People ask like why I still actively trade. I truly enjoy it. Like that's the big thing for me. Like I like to click the buttons, and I'll always have small bags. Right? Yeah, dude. Like I find the most joy taking $500 to $1,000 and seeing what I can run it up to, and if I can. Sometimes I burn the bag. Sometimes I don't. But like the spot soul bag is being used to just park it somewhere and forget after on a long enough timeline. And like put that into a traditional means to just hang out, you know, like not have any financial worry, concern, etc. And that's kind of why like I want to take part of that, put it into 5 Bitcoin and hang out. You know, like I don't care what price I buy in at. If it's 150K, great. I think it has an 8x in it. You know, like that's the thing over 20 years. And that's where I'm like, yeah, do I care? Not really. Like I don't care where I buy in at any point for that bag because I want to tuck it away and totally forget about it.
That's how you get into PO's compound, dude. In fucking upstate Maine, dude. You got to own at least 1 coin to get in.
I'm not getting in, that's for sure.
Dude, yes, you are.
No one can help Clemente, dude.
Blast destroyed this guy, dude. No, he's going to have his comeback arc. You know, the bike pictures, loved them of him with the bike helmet. Like, he's gonna make a run, dude. It's going to be an amazing run. It's going to be beautiful. Yeah, Clemente, you're keeping your feet chopping, man. That's what matters.
Buy the Bitcoin and don't sell it. It's not that hard. Look, let's do this game show segment quickly. This will be fun. So this is Clemente's this or that segment. So this is the segment where panelists are presented with 2 choices, a this or a that. They must pick one of the 2 options. So first one to hit a new all-time high, Ethereum or Solana. Solana.
No. Yeah, no.
First to hit new all-time high?
I think ETH does. Yeah, it's just on a percentage basis. I think ETH does first. You have the ETF. You have inflows from traditional finance that should theoretically push it higher. Sol still has $90 to go to all-time high. ETH has 1,100, right? It's a percentage basis game at the end of the day. Like, I think ETH
are those both still like, I guess like 30% versus more like 40%? Or
40% versus 60.
No, roughly. It's not 60% to go from 150 to 260.
Yeah, it's $110. 110 divided by 150. That is, we're looking at 73%. So yeah, you're right. It's not 60. It's actually higher. Yeah, you're right. It's higher. So like Sol almost has to 2x the percentage. Okay. You know, so I think ETH does first. TradFi inflows, tons of capital. I want Solana to go up there first, but I don't think it does. I think it will be ETH.
Interesting.
Very.
And so you know, like how much he owns. That is completely unbiased. That is a true take.
Yeah, my crypto position, like, dude, I hold basically no ETH, no liquid ETH. I don't want to hold liquid ETH.
Well, that's pretty fascinating. My little bet was sold. Clemente, what's your bet?
ETH. I'm going ETH. Even though longer term, I'd way rather hold Solana. Actually, yeah, but I'm a little bit bag biased. I hold a way too much Ethereum right now, but just holding on to it right now.
Dude,
I think I'm going to sell into it. Yeah, I was wanting to sell it in the next week or so, but my strategy for Solana and Bitcoin, but I realized that now I got to pay cap gains on it, so I should have just put it into Solana and Bitcoin to begin with.
Your losses offset any cap gains you'll have for the next 20 years, dude.
Oh yeah. That's what it's like what Kathy Wood said yesterday is like, we're so grateful for that, like all of our cap gains are done for the multiple years.
That was pretty funny. So yeah, I mean, this would also be in line with the fact that ETH has underperformed thus far this cycle, and thus is due to outperform in theory. Having ETF firepower behind it, you have to think that that's a possibility. So let's see. Next story: Bitcoin all-time high before Bitcoin Nashville. That's a week from today, week from tomorrow, something like that. No, not before that. Easy?
No shot. Literally 0% chance.
No.
Yeah, I go with no.
So hold on. If
$9,000.
If this is by Saturday, I don't know. I think it could happen.
You think we have a 25% run in 7 days?
Bitcoin does Bitcoin things, so you're like, that's not a dumb take. You can hold that takedown. Hold that.
He's up in Seattle with Michael Dell, man. He's got some info.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following. I'm a sucker for a good narrative, so I've been following David Bailey, who's the CEO of Bitcoin Magazine and organizer of this event. He's the guy that got Trump on, and he's been bull posting so much about this event, and he's saying that they got some surprises coming, that institutions are like pouring in the amount of money that's coming to this conference because Trump is involved. I think Trump could do something crazy at this thing. I think
What is he going to do, dude? What is he going to do? Think about what the fuck you're saying right now. What is he going to go on stage, pull out a goddamn ledger, and sweep the floor of Bitcoin live in front of everybody for dude, a $1 million buy doesn't fucking move the needle 25%. Yeah. Like a $10 million buy doesn't move the needle 25%. We have a billion dollars of inflow, and it's not moving the needle 25%.
Yeah, no wonder this guy's bold posting. Who's heard of Bitcoin Magazine before today? Like, he's like, this is my shot. Like, I need to fucking get this shit on the map. I got this coming up, dude.
There's a reason you have 37 years of long-term capital losses, dude. And this is one of them.
I like that Clemente's holding down this take because he's just betting on Bitcoin, doing Bitcoin things. It's all right, 3-1. I think I might have been the only person last week when we played our little game that we're tracking now that I'm excited about that said that Bitcoin would be over 60K today. So, I've been in Clemente's spot. I like it. I'm a Bitcoin permabull, so obviously I can get behind Bitcoin Clemente making a big bet here. But so 3-1. We'll see how this one plays out. We'll revisit this. Last one or next one, Trump rejoins Twitter or Biden drops out of the race. I like this one. I'm going to go Trump rejoins Twitter before Biden drops out of the race at this point. Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
Easy. You're muted, buddy.
Well, Biden drops out of the race.
Okay.
Before Trump rejoins Twitter.
I think Trump rejoining Twitter. I think Trump could come on Twitter and drop a couple. Actually, no, I'm going Biden. I think he has like a contractual obligation that he can't join Twitter. And he's like this truth socialist.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. You came up with the question. You know the answer. Gotcha.
No, that was right.
Yeah, okay.
All right, here we go. So I was just looking at Easy's tweet about his Q4 low targets. I think those are awfully low, Easy, but I like a conservative take too. First cat coin to $1 billion, Mog or Popcat? It's got to be Mog, right? Got to be Mog.
Mog's at 7. So Mog, the thing that's interesting here, Mog's at 720 million, and Popcat is at 811. So it's a different. You don't have Popcat's a lot closer. But I've also never heard of Popcat. I don't know if it's my algorithm. I get fed so much more Mog than I do Popcat. but Popcat's insanely strong. It's up 65% in the last 7 days.
Yeah, probably because there's like 5% of the coins actually circulating. The rest is in.
If Brett can go to $370 billion because of that bullshit, dude, who gives a shit at this point? Mog has struggled so hard to touch that $1 billion mark. I think Popcat.
But is Mog even a cat coin? Is it even considered a cat coin?
It's got a cat picture.
It's 100% a cat coin. 100. It's the cat picture. It's the cat coin.
Polymarket doesn't think so.
Dude, I actually trust Polymarket. People
actually no, I think Polymarket does think so because Polymarket has other / none is 34% chance. And this is by any period of time, just whoever gets there first.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Mog because I just like it better than Popcat, dude. Popcat just.
Wait, where Mog isn't even on here?
It's other / none.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
that's weird.
No offense to the Popcatters, but just a weird picture. Not a fan. Don't even see how that's funny or cool. Like, like how do you use that in like any sort of like memeable thing? Like someone's like, "Oh man, you made a lot of money." Oh, Popcat face. Like, no. So I'll go with Mog.
All right, well, last one here. First asset to a $20 billion market cap, Dogecoin or TON?
Ton. Yeah, ton. Just look at the metrics.
What's it at now?
15, 18.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, no, million. So, yeah, million.
That's a ton of money.
Fully diluted, 37 million.
Billion.
Millie. Oh, Billy.
Billion.
Billy.
Yeah.
Billy. I think this shit. I think ton goes to $30.
Well, this is like literally flirting with the number right now. So I'm gonna call Clemente out. This is sorry. Doge is also flirting with it. So this is actually a really good one. This is a really good one. Doge is at 17.8. Ton is at 18.5. I'll go ton. It's new. Just being new is huge in crypto. It's a new shiny object. Clemente?
I don't know too much about ton, so take it with a grain of rice. But I think. Remember Say was new. Say was sexy. Say was the next thing. It feels maybe a little.
Say less.
So yeah. Say less. Say no more. All these things. I think Doge is all reliable. Even though I don't own any, I think Doge could go to 20 bill easy. It just needs another it needs another 20% little run here and it'll be there. So I think Doge is the no-brainer here compared to ton, but I don't know. It's only up 1% in the last 7 days, a little weak.
I think it takes a while for these assets to run compared to like Bitcoin and presumably Ethereum and Solana. Although Dogecoin, you would think would be kind of up there. The man on the street stuff that I've been doing has been indicating that Dogecoin is known. What's so funny, Clemente?
I said grain of rice versus grain of salt.
Yeah, you did. You did. Kick shared.
No one wanted to acknowledge it.
I'm switching my bet to Popcat.
That's all it took.
It's pretty good.
Number one is 10 billion pops.
No, I think that's just all of America. I'm doing my fucking part. I'll get it up. I'll get it up to 500 and I'll call it.
Please get this off the screen.
All right, well, look, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. We do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time, each and every week, where we discuss all things crypto and TradFi. We hope that you'll join us tomorrow. We're available on every podcast platform, Apple and Spotify podcasts, YouTube for the video stream. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Twitter Spaces, of course, Old Reliable, and X Platform Video. Thanks for listening, everyone. We will be back tomorrow through Friday. Clemente,